everyone, welcome back to our channel. We wanted to do a geocaching video, and specifically how to get started. We get a lot of comments on our videos, the ones that have geocaching in them at least, of what is geocaching, how do you get started, those types of things, what apps do you use, what equipment do you need, that type of stuff. So we want to do a video for you on that. So what we're going to do is, I'll probably throw in some screen caps along the way, because it's going to be hard to see the phone screen for the app. And then we'll do a couple geocaches on video just to show you the different types of levels, where they can be hidden, the types of terrain, that type of thing. So stick around for this video. It should be informative, and we hope you like it.
All right, so we're here to talk about geocaching. And basically what geocaching is treasure hunting is kind of a nice way to put it. But it's a great family event. It's something we started doing a couple years ago, just kind of to fill the time on weekends. But since we've been camping and getting to a lot of the different state parks, it's just been a lot of fun and just something that we've been able to incorporate into our trips, and it just makes it a great event. The way we do it is we use an app that's called geocaching.com. It's a free app. But that being said, there is also a membership that you can purchase. It's an annual membership, and I want to say it's $30 a year. You don't have to use that by any means to participate in this activity, but it gives you access to some of the caches that are otherwise like hidden or kind of grayed out on the app. There's different types of geocaches once you get started. Traditional is kind of the main one that we typically do. Those are just something hidden. You go out, you go straight to it and find it. End of story. There's other geocaches, some are called multi-geocaches, where you might have to go to one location, there'll be a clue, then you go to a second location, and then on. They can have as many as like 5 or 6 different steps to them. I don't really like those. They're too time consuming for me, and I'm more of an instant gratification. I just like to find one and move on. There's also geocaches that are called virtual geocaches. So those are usually done at like unique places where there's not a specific cache hidden, but it's like a historic marker or something like that, and usually you have to like take a picture of yourself in front of the area that's described on the geocaching app and send it to the geocache owner, the cache owner, and then they'll approve it. So those ones are a little different. I'm not a big fan of those either, so I typically stick to the traditional caches. With the traditional caches, there are several different types. There is something called micro, which are really, really small. They're usually something, I don't know, like yay big or maybe even a little bit bigger or smaller than this. Next size up would be a small, which would be something roughly this size. This would be like a medium to large geocache, something in this kind of container. And a lot of the large ones we've also seen in like I don't have one here, but they're like an ammo can or a metal can that I guess Army surplus stores and stuff carry. And we find a lot of those because they're really durable and they hold up in the weather for outside. No matter what, the caches are always waterproof and watertight, so that way the elements don't affect what's inside. So with some of the medium to larger geocaches, there's usually stuff inside, and this is what makes it a great family event. These are just a few things. I usually just go to the dollar store. They call it swag, and then when you get to a geocache, you can put swag in and then take swag out. You're supposed to always trade. Usually I just find like little plastic things like this to leave behind. These are just some random things that I've picked up that I just carry with me to leave behind. The next step to that is something called a trackable, and these are really fun. We've left these if you've watched some of our videos, and they have a specific number on them. So they're usually like something that looks like a keychain, and they will have a specific code on them. So when you get to the geocache and you leave it behind, there's a spot on the app where you can say you're dropping the dropping the trackable. You drop it, leave a little description, and then you just walk away. So then in theory, when somebody else comes to the cache and finds it, they would then retrieve the trackable by typing in the code number that's specific to that trackable and then move it on to another. So you can log miles with these caches. I have actually had several that I've released over the years that have made it. I have one right now that's in Austria. I have several in Canada. So it's just kind of cool to see where they go and how far they've traveled, how many miles. I'll see if I can find some screenshots to throw in of just some of the the distance that I've had some of mine go. But that's just something fun. It's a great way to kind of incorporate your kids and teach a little geography with it, because they will move from state to state. So it makes it a lot of fun and just something else to kind of add to the game. So this is just some examples of kind of what you can do with geocaching. Like I said, there's different types of swag you can switch. There's different types of trackables. We'll put some links in the descriptions for the different websites where you can order these things from. There's also other types of trackables that some people like. Like this is just an iron-on patch. Some people like these. I have a couple different examples of those. There's also geo coins. These are really nice. I don't know how well you can see this, but like this is a geo coin that I have, and this again they're just very intricate. They're very neat. This one has a trackable number kind of right on the edge there, and these are really nice. Some people leave them behind. Other people will just take them from cache to cache and just log miles on them, but not actually leave it behind. And that's another option when you're playing this game with the trackables. If you don't want to drop it, you can just log that it visited a cache instead of dropping it, and then you can take it from one cache to another and visit it and collect miles that way as well. So it's just a really fun, family-friendly game. We've really enjoyed it over the years. I think we're not super into it. We've only got about 200 caches, I think, since we've started this. There's people that have thousands, and I think if you look overall in the world, there's millions of them. They're on every continent. There's some really cool ones that are, you know, on islands. There's some you can only get to with like kayaks and boats. So some people get real creative with how hard they make them on the difficult scale. They can be anywhere from a 1 to 5 on difficulty. I usually try to stick with 3 and under because I don't want to spend hours looking for one. If you watched our video from Atwood Lake, there's one that's a 5, and we spent probably a good hour and a half looking for that one, and we finally had to send a message to the cache owner, you know, with a little clue or help, because it was just so overwhelming trying to find that. And so, you know, you can make it as fun or as easy and friendly as you want it to be, or you can just stick with some of the challenging ones and, you know, still have a great time. So there's a lot of range and variety of things you can do with it. So we're gonna go try to find some caches now and show you what it's like. All right, here we are at the American Legion Park, and we are here to find a geocache called American Legion Park. This one is actually a micro, so that means it's like the smallest kind that there is. So with these ones, there's not really an option for any kind of trading of swag or anything like that, but it's just an object to find, and once you find it, there's usually a really small log that usually you can't write your full name on it, but you can just put like your initials. Like our page is called Following the Fitchs, so I'll just abbreviate and put FTF. And that's about all there is to it. So we're going to try to find this one. Like I said, it's really small, and it's labeled as a difficulty of 1.5. So hopefully it won't be too hard, but we'll see what happens. All right, so we're here at the American Legion Park, still looking for the geocache that's micro, so that means it's really small. I was having trouble finding it, so there's an option here on the app when you go to it, and we'll screenshot this because I know you can't see it real well, but you can click on the hint button, and the hint said it was magnetic. So by knowing that, it gave me a little more direction as far as where to look for it, and with some stumbling around, we were able to find it. Hopefully I don't fall in the water. So this one, is a magnetic key, I guess, thing you would put on your car, but this is a smaller geocache. So with this, there's a log sheet, so we will sign the log sheet and put everything back just the way we found it. All right, so we're signing the log. And we'll put everything back just the way we found it. All right, and we're all done. All right, we're here at a local park. This geocache we wanted to show you is, I don't really agree with my screen here. It's titled, "Are You a Tree Hugger?" And it's, Usually the titles are kind of a clue sometimes to where the geocache is hidden. So there's lots of trees around, so we had to do a little bit of searching for it. This one was labeled as a difficulty of 2 and a terrain of 2 and a size small. After looking around, we found the geocache. I don't really know if I would consider this a level 2 difficulty. When we were walking around, we were actually on another part of the trail and I could actually see through the trees something that looks suspicious right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig through here, but I'm pretty sure this is the geocache we're trying to find. And here is an example of a geocache. So these are usually watertight containers. This one was labeled as small. I would actually consider this more of a medium container. So in the containers, there's always a log of some sort. This one here, they included a pen. Some of the logs and caches are small enough that there's not a writing utensil, so I always bring one with me. So we're gonna date it, and there was actually several other people here today that have found this. And since this pen isn't working, it's a good thing. I brought my little geocaching stuff, and I will just use my own pen. So today, and so we date it and then log it with our name, which we just use following the Fitchs. Apparently my pen doesn't want to work the greatest either, but we got it logged on here. And then usually there's some kind of, they call it swag or some kind of trinkets inside the box, and you can trade those if you want. So I usually keep stuff with me. So I think I'm just gonna put a little rubber ducky in here. And there's only a Buckeye and a quarter, nothing I really want, so I probably won't take anything. But that's it. So the other option you have when you come to these geocaches is leaving something called a trackable. A trackable is something that has a code on it that you have pre-registered with the geocaching.com website, and the codes are specific to each trackable, so no two are alike. That way yours is unique and you can always kind of follow along with where the progress of where it's traveled. So I'm not going to leave anything in this one today, but an example would be like if I would leave this kind of trackable, this is just a patch. There's a number on here, you would drop it here, and then somebody else can come along later and retrieve it and then move it on to another geocache. The reason I'm not going to leave anything today, this is a basic geocache, and every time I leave a trackable in one of these basic ones, they always come up missing. So I am just going to start leaving them just in the premium caches. That way it's someone that's actually like paying for the app, and so I feel like they're a little more committed to where they understand the rules and they're more likely to kind of follow along and move those trackables along. So the other important thing is just to make sure everything is always locked up tight when you're done, and put it back exactly how you found it. And make sure that it's nice and covered for the next person. So now that it's found, logged, signed, you have to go on the app on your phone and hit log, found it, and then you can write a description, and then you're all set, ready to go on to the next one. All right, everyone, we just kind of wanted to finish up and recap a few things we talked about earlier and just kind of go over a few things in a little more detail. First, I wanted to start off by showing you some more varieties of some geocaching containers that you might come in contact with. This is a typical large ammo can. We see these a lot. This is a plastic one. We do see them in metal as well, but they're similar in size. These are some medium to large containers here, and these are kind of more of the small to micro containers. This is a bison tube. These are very common. We see those zip tied to trees and things like that. So those ones are another real common size that you'll see. And then I've got some examples of some small log sheets versus some standard log sheets. The other thing that's real important whenever you're geocaching is to always make sure you have a writing utensil with you. We always keep a pen with us and then a few extras just in case it never fails. A pen always seems to run out of ink right when you need it. So we've got extras here. The other thing that we kind of carry around is some just other tools is a pair of tweezers. These come in handy when you're using stuff like these bison tubes to retrieve your log sheet, because sometimes they get crammed down in the bottom there and you can't get them out. So tweezers are nice to kind of have on hand. A little flashlight. Sometimes there's a cache that's way back in a tree trunk or something like that, and you just want to make sure you know what you're grabbing. So flashlights are always nice. This is kind of a mirror that's on an extension tube. Or I guess it's not an extension tube. It's just got a flexible top here. And this is nice just to kind of look over like guardrails and things like that, to if you can't quite see something before you're just reaching around. You don't want to be surprised and find a spider or something like that you're not expecting. So that's what the mirror is for. And then this I've never actually used, but this is kind of a cool magnetic tool to pick stuff up. It came with a geocaching starter kit I bought, and I've never used it, but it's really neat, and I just feel like one of these days I might need it for something. So this is just some of the swag that sometimes we trade when we're finding the different geocaches. Just little plastic critters. I'm not even sure what this is. Just a little ring, a rubber duck, little things like this you can find at the dollar store, sometimes at the checkout counter at a grocery store, things like that. So just kind of fun stuff you think family, kids, and stuff like that will enjoy. So that's kind of it with that. This next part is my favorite. These are the trackables. This is probably my favorite thing with geocaching. And the trackables are just fun. It's, again, I talked about a different way to kind of pass on, you know, a travel bug from one spot to another to see how far they've traveled. And I just think it's fun to do that. So these are some examples of what they call travel bugs. They're smaller. They're a keychain type object. And again, they've all got their own individualized code that goes along with it. The other type of traveling thing is a geocoin. And these are nice. These are real detailed, heavy duty coins that have a trackable number with them. These are really nice. I usually end up hanging on to these when I come across one. These are ones I've gotten I've bought off of geocaching.com's website, and I've just kind of collected them. I don't put them in geocaches, but you definitely can. They've got a number that you can track just like you can the regular travel bugs, but they're just really detailed and heavy duty, and they're really nice. So I just like to hang on to those. Another option is just these little merit badges or patches that have numbers on them. Those are fun. Some people, you know, trade these out. Other people will put them on their backpack or something like that. And then instead of dropping it in a cache, they just log it for visits. And we actually probably should put one on our backpack that we use to carry all this stuff. This is our backpack that we use, and we just kind of keep all of our gear and everything in here, so it's all in one place. But it's just a nice little sling bag that has tons of compartments to hold all of our stuff. So that's about it as far as our geocaching video. I hope we were able to explain this game to you and get all your questions answered. But if there's something we didn't answer, we'd be happy to help you out there if you just want to ask us in the comments, and we'll get an answer for you. We really appreciate you watching our video, and please like and subscribe to our channel. And we've also got Facebook and Instagram that we like to keep things updated with as well, so follow along on those channels as well. All right, everyone, if you've made it this far, we have a surprise for you. We have a travel bug that we are going to give out to the first person that comments underneath this video, and you have to comment with the word travel bug, and then we will be in contact with you and get this free travel bug out to you. This one has not been activated, so you will have to activate it through geocaching.com, but there's step-by-step on how to do it. It's real easy, and then you can start your own adventures. Thanks for watching.